watch and burn.
Hey everybody! So tonight I would like to talk about the 1998 film, and my god does this movie look late 90s, and that is Blade, starring Wesley Snipes and Chris Christopherson, and I think Stephen Dorff's in this. He plays Deacon Frost. Udo Kier pops up in this as well. And I mean, I love this movie. This movie is so over the top. Tracy Lords is in it at the beginning. This movie is so 90s. They end up at sort of like a very 90s looking blood rave at the beginning. Blade comes in and butchers them all. Donald Logue's in this as well. He plays a really vicious and fun vampire. And the purpose, the plot of this movie is Deacon Frost is attempting to decode some vampire lore, some vampire Bible shit that's going to allow them to walk during the day and then therefore take over the earth completely. And of course, Blade, as we know, Blade, his mom was bitten when he was in her womb, so he was born human, but he still needs blood. He can walk during the day, and he has vampire strength. How do vampires have sex, first off? They're always fucking and making out and shit. I mean, don't you need an erection to do that? And don't you need blood to get an erection, right? I always thought that was a little odd. I think the weirdest thing about this movie is how they conduct their vampire business out in the open. Like when Blade's beating the shit out of that cop, one of Deacon's familiars, he's like beating the fuck out of a police officer on like a city corner, like a busy downtown metropolis block. And he's throwing this cop around like he's a fucking rag doll. And nobody notices. And then when Deacon's got that little girl, because Deacon's able to walk out during daylight right now, and him and Blade sort of have this standoff in the middle of like some sort of little like, again, another busy, heavily populated city block, and he's got the little girl by the neck, and everyone's just kind of walking by. Blade's sitting there. Blade is so obviously illegal. Blade looks like one big weapon, and he's got a fucking sword, sticking out of his, he has a sword sticking out of his fucking jacket. Nobody notices. It's no big deal. It's no big thing. And then and Deacon picks the little girl up off the ground when Blade goes to make a move, and she's like, and nobody does anything. Again, this is just out in the open. It's no big thing. And then what does he do? He takes the little girl to distract Blade, and he throws her through like a bus shelter or some shit. And then the girl just gets up, and she's about to get hit by a bus that for whatever reason doesn't see her. Blade has to leap over and save her, and she's uninjured. She's fucking uninjured. I mean, don't you think that's pushing things? He threw her through something, some wooden thing, or like I said, it was a bus shelter or whatever. She'd be fucking dead. I still think the movie's cool. That's not really a criticism. I just find it a little odd that they're able to conduct their vampire business out in broad daylight. The one thing that is really dated about this movie is that sped up 90s transition thing that it does. Like when Blade's driving somewhere, everything's all like undercranked and jittery. That is so late 90s. That dates this movie. But I love this movie. I love the action. I love the acting. I love the cinematography. I love the fight choreography. I believe Wesley Snipes as Blade. We don't need that fucking movie remade. Leave Blade in the past, okay? Wesley Snipes did a killer job. Just, this belongs to Wesley Snipes. Just leave it alone. You know? So this movie's, the soundtrack's rad. The fact that Tracy Lords is in this definitely gives this a hell of a lot of extra points. Everybody in this can act. Udo Kier is in this, like I said. This movie's really fun. It's fast. It moves at a breakneck speed. It hits like lightning, and then it's gone. Because it's an action movie that doesn't overstay its welcome. Those things that I pointed out, the daylight vampire business was a little much, and then that sped up, jittery undercrank things really dated. But other than that, I don't really have anything negative to say about this movie. This movie's awesome. Wesley Snipes is perfect as Blade. So look, I'm going to stop there. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for not even 4 minutes while I discuss the 1998 film Blade. Like always, if you like this review or you love this movie, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But please, most importantly, don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. Like always, I'm going to go. Have a good night.